Hey everybody, it's Elizabeth and welcome back to the actual farm. So I thought I would film this really quick for you guys this week because I've been working on a longer project for a video and it's not going to be done in time for this week's video. And for those of you who have been with my channel for a long time, on my other channel before it was like hacked and lost and stolen, over here in our far side yard is where I had what I called my big garden. This is what it looks like right now. Kind of looks like hay pasture. I came out here and decided to like mow around some stuff after my walk this morning because I walk past this every morning. And this is right beside our house. For people who are maybe newer to the channel, since I actually gardened out here, first of all, it's really bright. There's a tree line right there, and on the other side of that tree line is my husband's in-ground garden, and then the house way over there. It's actually about 350 feet because there's a water spigot over here that several years ago we dug all the way out here from the house. So that's how I know how far it is. Anyways, I've not gardened in this space in a while. 22 was the last year. I'd actually been 21. 21 was the last year I gardened in this big garden. It was 7,000 square feet. Where I can tell where the actual garden is where I amended, is that I planted 4 pine trees, and a pine tree in each of the 4 corners. So there's one right there, that little guy, I just mowed around him. And so that's the back corner, and that's one of the top corners right there. So it's a huge garden. Here in Northeast Arkansas, we have wild persimmon trees, and they are robust. They grow like 5 to 6 feet a year. And so you may see some trees randomly throughout there that I actually intentionally left. In 21 or 22, I don't remember. Anyway, the reason I haven't gardened out here in a while is because I was doing a flower produce farm that year, so trying to like jump off a business. But I also have my bookkeeping business I've done for years that keeps me really busy and pays the bills. So I put a lot of energy and effort into that. We actually used to have a greenhouse back here that got ruined in an ice storm the winter after that. That was sad. But anyways, we spent a lot of time out here for a few years developing this side. I have a cottage garden over here to my left that is very grown up, but it's all covered in landscape fabric. And so, needless to say, put a lot of effort out here and was just exhausted, completely burnt out by the end of that season. It was hard to sell produce strictly in our local area because so many people in our community garden themselves. And so we did sell some, and we sold some flowers, but we ended up giving away a lot of food, which is fine, cool with that. Rather that than waste it. And then I learned a lot about flower farming that year, which is actually way more difficult than just gardening. There's so many nuances involved in planting times, harvesting time of day, when a flower is a good like quality to cut, time of day to cut, put them in water or not, put them in a fridge or not. I mean, there's just so much involved. And I would love to do it again someday on a much smaller scale. And I'm hoping to, you know, maybe do that next year. Maybe, you know, maybe. But anyway, so today I thought I would just kind of show you guys around a little bit. For those who have been with me for a long time, you probably know we spent a lot of time out here together in this garden. And I'm on my lawnmower right now. And so, there's a lot of places out here. Actually, the last time I gardened in this cottage garden right here that's really grown up was October of 22. And the reason that is so prominent in my mind is because I was in the garden and I got a creepy feeling, and I finished what I was doing. I was planting a new plant in the ground. So I was squatted down planting, and I got this just eerie feeling. And I finished what I was doing, which was maybe like 10-15 seconds, and I stood up and I turned around, and there was a huge rattlesnake behind me, like, I don't know, 6 to 8 feet long, but it was calmly and slowly headed in the other direction. But I still just about lost my stuff, y'all. I froze for a second and then slowly backed away, and once I was like 20-30 feet, like I booked it, took off running, and I have not set foot in this garden since then. I'm terrified of snakes. I took a picture of it while I was frozen so that I could ask my husband if it was venomous or not. I did not want to get close enough to even, you know, none of that. So anyways, we do have lots of like perennials, evergreens, roses, some herbs. I've got a lot of different things in this cottage garden which have survived. And I think I'm going to really, really soon get out here because I've mowed around the perimeter of it, and so maybe this is a better view. Okay, so came around the perimeter of it. There's some places in here that don't have landscape fabric because I grew tomatoes right there where those posts are. But I had some grapevines here. Those are wisteria vines. There used to be an arch there, but we stole it for another project. Here's my water spigot. There's another one. And then we've got, this is a, that's a persimmon because it's already lost all its leaves. And then we've got a crepe myrtle there. But anyways, what I was saying is I would love to come in here with a weed eater and whack away the stuff along the edges that doesn't belong, because I know where the edge is. It's right there. And just maybe a foot in is my landscape fabric and my mulch. You can see my mulch there. This is a pathway through the woods. You can barely see. We used to keep that cleaned out. Anyways, so the next step to even cleaning this up is the weed eater. Got to come out here with the weed eater. And that usually is really hard on my back. So I ask, you know, wait until my hubby can do that. But it's, you know, it's harvest season. My husband's a farmer, so he's got a lot on his plate, and he also runs his own mechanic shop after hours. So he is working a lot right now. So so even if I have to do it in a couple different jaunts, I would love to come do that. You can see I have a raised bed out there. I would just love to clean it up so I feel safe to walk in it again, because with it like this, I don't want our kid over here, our younger kid, because I worry about snakes. So anyway, that's that. Would love to clean that up soon. Here is, you can see that I mowed in front of the old garden, but I just did it with the lawnmower on like 4 inches. So just to kind of like beat a path. I actually have lots of bulb flowers in the front of this old garden, and there's one section where I planted probably 75 garlic and onion bulbs several years ago. I got to thinking to myself recently that they may still be there because they're bulbs. So you tell me, have you ever done that? Have you ever left onions for like years upon years? Like, will they just mush, you know? I'm not sure. But I know where they should be. And when I was mowing, I actually saw a lot of the flowers. It's irises that I have out there that are actually still green right now. But there's also daffodils and a lot of other bulb flowers. And they come up every spring. I have dug up some of them over the years. But anyways, so yeah. So I just wanted to come out here, clean this up. Specifically, this right here used to be our road. When we were over here gardening all the time, I had to mow this every week. And that's because you can cut through right there. There's an opening in these woods here. And so I would go on through the side-by-side or four-wheeler, whatever I was using. I'd come over this way. This was my big open pathway. And then we turn around here. And then this goes out to our dirt road in front of the house. And right there, once upon a time, I had a moon garden that was all white flowers. And I still have... a lot of those were annuals. That was just a fun little experiment we did in probably 22. And yeah, that's the year we did it, because I was just putting together my scrapbook for 22 the other day and had pictures of it. It was so lovely. But anyways, this is a shrub that like spreads by root and super hardy. It's really cool looking. I want to dig it up soon and move it to the house. Move it to my cottage garden by the house. So it's got like these rust spots on it right now. See if you can see that. So it looks a little sad. Usually it's green with pink and white spots. So it's really cool, but it's just like literally out here surviving on its own. All this stuff is completely neglected. I mowed this down a little bit. This is the front of the cottage garden. This was always mowed every week. And somewhere in this corner over here, I have a magnolia tree. I don't know if it has survived. I see a stick, but I don't know if that's a dead magnolia tree or a persimmon, so I'll have to research that later. But anyways, you can see my German irises are still here. When I come and dig this out, I'm probably going to go ahead and chop them all down. They'll shoot up fresh in the spring, and then I'm going to dig them up and bring them to the house. I'd like to have all this open, just so it's a little easier to maintain. But anyways, so yeah, this was the flower farm. I had rows and rows of flowers on this bottom part here, and this upper part was all vegetables. And I actually grew, I think it was like right about there was the vegetable garden, and this was all like road. And then at the very end of the season, we opened all this up with the tractor came to here, amended all that, did a winter cover crop, and then planted the pines. So this like 30-foot extension on the right side here has never been grown in, but it's been amended. So, you know, the hope is that someday I'll do that again. But this is the beautiful thing about life. You have to do something in order to figure out if it's really great. And honestly, most things in life, especially things you see in like short clips online or social media, and people are like, oh, look at this beautiful flower I grew. It's like, okay, well, dude, that really took like 4 hours. If you added it up, it took 4 hours of your time just to plant that seed, tend to that seed, fertilize that seed, prune the, you know what I mean? It's like there's so much more involved. And if I didn't need the income from my bookkeeping business, I would be a full-time farmer, gardener, for sure. Even if I didn't make a ton on selling my crops, because one, I'm a 9th generation farmer. It's been in my family blood in this county in Arkansas for 9 generations. I'm really proud of that. The actual family farm where like the last 5 generations have like lived and grown food crops. They're big ag row crop farmers growing rice and soybeans. But where they actually did all that is just like 7 miles down the road from me. So really proud of my family heritage. But the thing for me is I love the act of growing. I don't even love eating my garden produce as much as I love tending to my garden. That's my sacred place. That's my peace. That's what I love. That's why I love growing weird things that look weird, even if it's like I love growing eggplants and I don't like them. In the last year I grew them, I couldn't give them away. Like, who knew so few people liked eggplants? But anyways, they're really fun to grow. They look like big purple fat teardrops growing on a bush. It's fascinating to me. Anyways, thought I'd give you guys an update, show you what's going on around here, and I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. Mwah.